Well, I was at my boxing gym in Detroit that I help out with my coach, and he's in California, and it was raining yesterday, so the best thing for me was to stay there. We have a room off of the gym so that if, fighters need to take a nap or somebody needs to stay overnight if they're training late or training early, they can stay there. So I wanted to keep an eye on the gym with the rain because sometimes the roof will leak. And I had heard the thunderstorms woke me up at just after midnight, and I could hear the rain and I could hear the loud pounding that I thought was the thunderstorm. So I went and checked into the gym how the rain was holding up, and as I walked into the gym part, 3 guys kicked the door in, which is a big heavy steel door, which is amazing. They got through it, and they jumped at me, all like having their arms forward with guns in their hands, and they had on hoodies and bandanas and big sweatshirts, and they just said, get on the ground, and start screaming at me. And my instant reaction was, there's nothing here, this is a gym for kids. Like, I was standing there kind of like as if I was trying to bargain with them. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think I just went right into shock because I wasn't anticipating that. Because as soon as they break in, you feel like you're in a movie. You feel like this isn't really happening, and what's going to happen next? That's all like my brain was thinking, and it was my way, I guess, of trying to get them out of there, saying, there's nothing here, this is a boxing gym for kids. And then they just kept screaming, get on the ground, get on the ground. And they got closer, and I started to get on the ground, and they pushed me on the ground and put a gun to my head and screamed at me like, did you call the police? Did you call the police? And I was like, no. I'm like, I didn't call the police. I didn't even know this was happening. So that's when, at that point, they went and he grabbed my phone and told me to open it and show him what my last call was. And my last call was at 5 o'clock, that evening. So they had accidentally hit the phone to check and see, the time of that phone call, and had called that number, and then that number called back. So, and that was my coach, and he was in California, and so he heard the wrestling around, but he didn't know what was going on. And then they put the gun to my head and said, who else is here? Who else is here? And they thought someone else might be in the building, and I just kept saying, no, it's me. I'm the only person here. The coach is in California. And then they just kept the gun to my head, and they were going through the building at that point. Yeah.
Eventually they made off with, you mentioned a couple of flat screen televisions, maybe a laptop computer, but like you said, there was nothing of any real value.
No. Most of the boxing gyms, are in the red. We do it to help the kids. We don't do it because you make any money doing it. Yeah. They did get those few items, and there wasn't really much else, and then they kept screaming, we want the money, where are the guns? And my response always, like, I'm Canadian, I don't have a gun. And they saw a gun case it was empty, but it's an old case that came out of my coach's aunt's house that had passed. There was no gun anywhere, and there was no money either. And then I think all I was thinking was, should I run out that back door? If I run out there, but then if there's someone in the car with a gun, they're going to shoot me then. Do I just lay here? And it was kind of confusing because the guy kept kind of putting the gun to my head, and then he would walk back towards my feet, and I was laying face down with shorts on because I was wearing my pajamas, and kind of was like kicking my foot and pulling like that, going shh, opening the gun up or turning the safety off or whatever he was doing, and kind of making me fearful. And I kept thinking, like, he's gonna rape me. He's gonna rape me. Just shoot me, please. Don't
get it over with as fast as we can.
I don't want these 3 guys, attacking me and raping me. And all I kept thinking was like, I can't imagine what that's going to be like. And then when they finally made out with the stuff, they told me to get up and close my eyes, and they were walking me towards the door. And at that point, that's when I had a flashback of an Oprah show, which is so ironic because I never see it very often, but the one was the guy, like a rape counselor, said, if you ever are in this predicament, never go to the second location. And so I was already in the first location with the gun to my head. Then I thought, okay, well, when they were walking me out the door, I thought, you know what? If they push me right out the door, I'm going to run. And if you shoot me, you shoot me. I'm done. I said, I can't imagine my mom going through, if they were to take me and gang rape me, and shoot me and throw me in the river, and she's looking for me forever.
There's no closure. There's
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me to ask. It's hard for me to see like this. Obviously, there's a personal connection here as well.
Sure.
What Can you? I mean, you recant the story quite well because you obviously had to go over it several times in your mind. But that moment when the gun was first put in the back of your head,
it's more of me thinking like, we have nothing to offer you here. You have, and then the other part of you was thinking like, well, what are they looking for? Like, are these guys that crazy? Do they want to just rape and do that kind of stuff for fun and torture? So you don't really know what their agenda is. And you kind of plan, there's so many times like you plan your escape, a million escapes. Do I run out the front door? If he turns me over and tries to rape me, do I kick him in the face? And I had so many plans going in my head because then when they started taking me out the door, that was the plan, was to run. And then he pushed me into the bathroom and lifted the toilet seat up like he was going to push my face into it. Almost like they were trying to torment me to tell them something more, but there was nothing more to tell.
Right.
And then he lifted the toilet seat up and pushed me towards the toilet where he was going to push my head in it and like smash the back of my head with the seat. But I didn't give, and I think that's what changed because I think he was waiting for me to give and say, okay, well, this is here, but there's nothing there. So then they sat me down.